What's going on, guys? It's Ed here from ClickUp, back with another Google Ads agency roundtable, and I'm back with Nick and Mark to shoot the shit and talk Google Ads. So we're going to go around the horn real quick and talk weekly wins. Mark, since you were last to grace us with your presence, what's your weekly win? What went well this week for you?
I've actually had a pretty good week. I had the client that clients in weird niches this week, which is more my thing because we're white label. So we had a client in a training niche in Florida where you have to get certified for a certain type of work. And we've been driving leads there. It's one of those where you take on and you're like, I wonder if this thing will ever work. And then had a call with that client. Everything was good. It's not our landing page. It's his site because it's got signups and various things like that we couldn't reproduce or didn't want to. So that was a win. One of the more interesting wins was a UK company that does smart home automation. When they came in, they're like, we are looking to get one client in the two clients this year in the $100,000 to $250,000 range. Not the value of their house, the value of their smart home automation, and another client in $250,000 to $500,000 range. And we want to get like 4 clients. So first of all, I'm like, 4 clients, that doesn't sound hard. But do people really spend $250,000 in home automation? Yes, they do. So 2 months, we've gotten them 2 about to be signed contracts, one in the $100,000 to $250,000 range, and one in the $250,000 to $1 million range. And I'm just like, yeah, no problem.
That's awesome. Well, you know what, Travis, the editor, as your creative guy, as you're listening to this, please make that into a clip for Mark and make it into a case study. If you're in the home automation contract or home automation services, let's clip that out and make that into a case study for Mark, because that's ridiculous. That's a very competitive space and very nuanced. And if you're pulling that kind of results, I would imagine contractors across the United States would also be interested in that.
I hope so. I was interested in that because it's one of those where you kind of like, I don't know, dude. Right. You know,
very good.
This is like good. If this is good, I don't know if we're going to do like we do with the typical plumber, 85% conversion rates. But just kidding about that one.
We were talking beforehand. Mark posted something on Facebook yesterday, the day before, saying that he loved the plumbing space and that he had a screenshot with an 85% conversion rate. So what was that about? How'd you pull an 85?
Figures lie and liars figure is the one thing I always tell people about conversion rates. It's an old campaign. It's valid. It's amazing. It's valid, but it's also one of the things that you can do to bump your conversion rate up over time is to really narrow your search terms down to things that highly convert, use exact match search terms, and you have a small budget. So you just drive it right to those things. And, you can take a 20% conversion rate and turn it into a 40% conversion rate. Doesn't mean you're going to get all the leads.
Got it.
You're going to lose leads in that process. But, if people are purely looking at conversion rate, now that's an anomaly. Like I posted that one just because I wanted to see what type of crap I would take for that. That's an anomaly for sure. But we've been managing that campaign for 3 or 4 years now. And customers, this is to the customers out there. They never call us. Be like them.
Yeah. we have a couple of customers we haven't talked to in 3 years that are happy, and they get reports from us weekly and they're happy with performance. So those are the golden customers. Nick, how about you? What's a win for the week?
Yeah, we've got a couple of good stories. We've got a client that reached out to us, was trying to nail down a $2 million home sale.
Nice.
So that's essentially a $60,000 check for them. Trying to figure out where it came from. We found that, and it was funny because it was more than likely a remarketing, retargeting setup is where it came through, because it originally came through Google, and then that person tracked back through and signed up through Facebook, which is something that we run as well. So it kind of was a twofold where it showed, hey, complete the cycle and the circle and do all the marketing, not just here or there. But then we had and then she started digging a little bit deeper into it, and she came back and was like, oh my God, we're doing a ton of business in this, and this. So followed up and said, hey, we spend as much as we can in here. We love hearing that, obviously. We got to try to find a number that works for them, but we tell them, yeah, we'll do that. We just want to do it before we have law of diminishing returns. And then we had one of our larger clients called, and this happened actually a week ago. We were going to a conference, called and said, hey, pause everything. I've got to look at my numbers. It looks like nothing's working. He must have had something clicked off on his CRM, because he's like, I don't think we've gotten any deals. And he starts walking through it, and the other Nick in the office was on the phone with him, and I'm driving, and it's like, wait, no, okay. Oh, wait, no, we've got 40 deals this year. It's like, oh, wait,
wow,
and 70 pending. So yeah, keep spending all the money. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, just it's good to see that come to fruition. Now they spend a good amount of money, but their ROI is massive. Both of them are doing over 10x on their ROI with that stuff. And I mean, I'm with you, Mark. We and Ed the same. We've got clients that have been with us 7, 8, 9 years, and rarely do we talk to them. We're trying to press on them more and get in front of them and talk to them about new stuff. But I think their biggest fear is that if we find out what they're making, we're going to raise our prices, which we never have. So
Right.
it's funny because they'll admit that when you say, hey, we've been trying to get in touch with you. Yeah, I just figured that you're coming back to collect taxes.
Nice. Hey, Travis, Nick is in the real estate agent space, real estate broker. If you run a case study for that ridiculous 10x return on investment, a little clip there, I think that would be helpful. Dustin, what do you got cooking?
Yeah, so I have a little bit more internal stuff going on. We have for tour operators, obviously we've been working on some new ads for action part owner in a tour operation. So it's a spinoff of our other business that you know about, Ed, or whatever.
Yep.
So I've just seen all the marketing. I don't do any of the operations, but we're working on some Facebook campaigns to see if we can get that to turn out into bookings. And we actually went from being focused on tours to mainly focus on rentals now, which would be a lot more transaction. So that's kind of a win. In terms of the marketing agency, has some pretty good outreach, doing some audits for some guys in the space. So it's actually hit really well this week. I don't know what changed, but all of a sudden I got like 3 or 4 or 5 requests for audits from my outbound email. So that's been pretty good.
Awesome.
My son's coming in tonight. He's coming in for like almost 2 weeks. And he told me on Monday night, he's like, hey, I'll be off for almost 2 weeks. Can I come? I'm like, yeah, come on. So he's coming down. So I'll pick him up, and he's a Marine. So obviously got to get the time that you can with him. So that's a huge win. And I mean, mainly those things. I mean, we have obviously some clients that are doing pretty well, but nothing really too awesome. And one last thing would be ClickUp. Since we implemented ClickUp, we're getting now some more leverage with some of our automation for onboarding, which is a little bit of, mostly intake, like getting the information where it needs to go. So I'm hoping that'll save us a good amount of time. So that's kind of it ain't done yet sort of thing, but we're making progress. I consider that to be a win.
Got it. Very cool. We've got a new hire coming on, new PPC manager coming on Tuesday.
Nice.
It was originally going to be Monday, but then we realized, I was like, what do we got going on Monday?
A holiday.
Memorial Day. Totally forgot. So he starts Tuesday. We promoted our other PPC manager into director of PPC. Going to be taking over the onboarding process to get things built out. We have an onboarder who makes all the campaigns, so he's basically just going to facilitate that process of conversion tracking, set the landing page. Actually, we have a landing page builder, but basically keep the car on the assembly line the entire way through, and then oversee the new PPC manager. Kind of steps Rob out of that final piece of the puzzle, and then gets him back towards video production. So right now we're doing like 3 or 5 videos a day. We're going to be doing 5 to 10. That's the goal. Really ramp that up. So that, and then we promoted Victor to director of operations as well. So internally, it was a good week with some promotions and stuff like that. I'm looking to just crank out more content. So looking forward to a big year.
What
just as the economy shits all over itself.
What do you use for a project management tool?
Asana. Yeah, Dustin got Asana a couple of years ago, and or maybe a maybe a year ago.
It was like the beginning of the year, and then I moved to ClickUp like 2 months
Yeah.
later after being in Asana for years. He came. I'm like, well, the party's over. I'm out.
Yeah, we use that. We use Close for a CRM, and the nice thing about Close is it's an open platform, so anybody that has an email account in Close, a seat gets paid for. So not everyone, it's not open to anybody.
Yep.
But they have access to all communications with the client, so they can go in and catch up real fast as to what's going on. You can set up a lot of in there and tasks and whatnot, and then build out pipelines. So we use that on the sales side and customer relationship side. Asana for project management, and you guys know the rest of the tech stack we use. Colorado, all that
Hey,
crap.
Dustin, I'm looking at trying to recreate our CRM inside of ClickUp. Is that something you guys have thought about doing?
Yeah, I mean, that's basically, I don't have a CRM. I use ClickUp to manage leads from time to time. I have our version of High Level as well that we use for storing that information. But honestly, I have to do more in the CRM space because I'm gonna have to get an appointment setter or somebody that can just focus on that all day, because it's a big time commitment. I know that there's a girl that has a channel, and I think her name is Layla on YouTube. And she's like talks about ClickUp, like Ed talks about, like we're doing here, like she's all about ClickUp.
Yeah.
And pretty helpful. There's a couple other ones too, but there's one video she did about like using ClickUp as a CRM, and it kind of goes through like a use case that might be helpful. I personally like to keep everything in one place just because it's easier, but I know that like when you're talking to 20 people a week, you're probably gonna have to find something more robust, I think,
That's the challenge, it's not natively a CRM.
It's not natively a CRM. Yeah.
I think you could make it work. But the integration is where I'm trying to simplify everything. Even on the front end, I'll have some things hopefully in the next month to talk about how we intake and take payments and things where we've streamlined it.
I know people use Monday as a CRM.
Yeah.
I would imagine you could pull ClickUp off as a CRM.
I think I've seen actually the video that Dustin was referencing, and I need to go back and watch it. At the time, I was not ready to make the move, but I'm trying to make life as simple as possible, and streamline everything and limit if nothing else, the monthly fees that I pay to everybody for software.
Yep. I bringing up the CRM, Dustin, and the appointment setter brings me back to something Josh Nelson said ages ago. And he's like, my life changed when I hired my first salesperson and relinquished that piece of it. And for the longest time, I was stuck in since we're in so many different niches, and Mark, you're in the same boat. It's like, how do you systemize that piece of it? Because they have to have so much product knowledge, but built out the training for that, and then built out the sales training piece of it. And my life literally did change when I relinquished the sales role. And does he sell as well as I can? No, but he sells
good enough
deeper into the follow-up, and sells at a good enough, close enough clip that, my God, my life has changed from not having to do that. It's nuts. And I think Rob feels similar in terms of the onboard launch, the landing page build, the ongoing management. It's like, it was life-changing hiring people this year. I'd say the biggest thing of the year has been the impact employees have made.
Yeah, I can say that too, but it's not all been easy. I mean, getting them up to speed, replacing people. Yeah. And especially when it's new, right? Because I know this is a new thing for you guys, and for us, we doubled the team in a year. So it's like, oh crap, now you find out where your flaws are, where people need extra training that you didn't think about. I mean, everything's worked out and there hasn't been any real big issues, but on me as the business owner, it's a constant grind and a constant oh man, I just put out this fire. And they're minor little fires, they're nothing big, but it's like, oh, come on, now we got this one to deal with.
But there's 100 of them. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. It's 100 of fireflies.
We're looking for an account manager. Once I was able to do what you did, Ed, and step out of the sales role, it was a process, because every time you hire someone, you think, oh, my life is going to get easier. But for a while, it gets harder.
It gets harder, yeah, for sure.
And then it gets easier.
Yep.
So then I stepped into the account management role, because frankly, we had hired decent account managers, but we had not given them the guidance all the guidance we could have. So I stepped into that role for several months, know what I want that role to be. And now we're trying to hire for that role with the, with more clear expectations and things. So my life will change again once I can get out of that role as well.
Nice.
That'd be a good conversation to have. Account managers, how to because that's the struggle we have is we separated our client success person from the person doing the ads. That wasn't that way a year and a half ago, but it is now.
Yep.
Then you divorce, in a way, there's a benefit and downside, right? Now you're divorcing the person working on the account from the client, which is great for the person working on the account, so they can actually work. But now there's a little bit more of a delay in getting answers back, and they get the answers from the person working. But there's I feel like there's a gap that needs to get bridged, and I'm trying to find the best solution without having the account manager know everything about everything in every account, because it's hard to maintain that. You know what I mean?
Yep, that's stuff we're trying to build out in Asana in terms of the ongoing team communication. Once a campaign's live and once adjustments need to be made, instead of emailing back and forth, it's these things get made via Asana rather than and boxes need to get checked, as opposed to just reduce the amount of email going back and forth, because we could have 200 emails a day easily going back and forth amongst the team if we counted it. So
yeah, we do that too. It's just hey, how much is this campaign in this area spent? Well, the guy running the account knows that, but the client success person is well, which campaign is in that area? They don't always know. And it's not anything against her. It's not what I hired her to know, but it's the very specific questions is where, if it's just how much do we spend, that's easy. We could figure it out pretty quickly. But when it comes to the nuances, that's where it gets a little tricky.
I think our best win there was hiring someone that ran Google Ads before. And I was telling Victor this, ran Google Ads, knew it, was nice, and then also had strong follow through in that order.
Wait, there are people that run Google Ads and are nice.
Yeah, there are a couple of them out there. But yeah, so that was our take on it. But Nick, you were in the process of ClickUp. Did you end up hiring?
Yeah.
And how's that going?
It's going really good. It was a little rocky at the beginning, as was documented, and then they started asking questions. So there's a spy in the group that went and took a screenshot of what I wrote in our group and sent it out to ClickUp. So they asked me about it. I'm like, guys, I was up for straightforward and honest with you. Your prices doubled when I think you figured out what I was making, and the prices came back down. We've been doing the integration. We're doing the handheld integration with them, and it's been awesome. The guy that we have as a project manager is great. My two team members that are doing the whole thing, I show up and I do the video, or I do the Zoom calls once a week with them, but my employees are doing all the setup and getting ready to do the transfer over. But they're super excited about it. It looks like it's going to be an awesome tool. We're in Podio right now, which is a much more archaic, older
all my investors use Podio.
Yeah, a bunch of REI people use Podio.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know who had that first.
I want to say it might be that person that's based out of St. Louis that did REI stuff, and everybody followed him for I forget the guy's name, but I think he pushed it. He's here's my roadmap. Take this, and you can put it into your system. I think it was one of those REI specialist guys that were this is how you buy and flip houses. And then they set all that up where you could just press a button and it populated, no different than Go High Level does, or I would guess ClickUp does it as well. But we just got on Podio because of Mike Rhodes. Mike had it, showed me how he used his. We built ours the way we wanted to do it. And it's funny, when we're doing the ClickUp, the product team was like, well, we've never seen it done like this. I'm like, well, we can do it real easy, and showed them why and what we were doing with it. So all signs point to being a pretty awesome advantage once we're done with it, as we bring in more team members, as we bring in, some more VAs to work with our account managers. It looks like it's going to end up being a huge positive move for us. So I'm excited about ClickUp.
Awesome. Good to hear. And are you running ClickUp as your CRM as well, or are you keeping?
No, we've got Go High Level. We really don't we're not great in our CRM. That's our next thing, is to sort of possibly get a little bit, have some hand holding with Go High Level and work on the CRM side. We also use that ticket system that we talked about in our group this week as well, where That ticket system is a massive amount of the follow-up and back and forth with our clients. And we sort of train them into using it, or just force them into it. So our CRM isn't really used as high level as people might think. We really don't do sales. So we don't have somebody out there knocking out sales calls on purpose. It's all referrals. Like, we've had probably 4 or 5 sales calls this week, soon to be 6 with the one that you sent over. But it's just sort of one-on-one. We don't really do much notation. We do a ticket to them after we're done talking to them and let them know the next step is yours. So we kind of put it on them about that. I actually just had somebody recently reach out and say, hey, we never heard back from you. I'm like, about what? Like, there's no contract. You can come and go as you please. So just let us know if you want to do it. I need you to be excited, not feel like you're forced into it. So, but yeah, it's, the CRM that you use is the one that's best for you. We really don't
actually use.
Yeah, the one you actually use. We use Go High Level for emailing out our data studio reports every week, right? And month. So that's kind of the automated thing we use for that. We do a couple of emails out with updates, like the marketing packet for 2022 was a big win for us. We see the value in it, but honestly, we've got to stabilize ClickUp. So we're trying not to get over our skis on getting too big, too fast, and too busy. We also had, I think every single team member was either sick or on vacation in the last 2-3 weeks. So yesterday was the first time we've had everybody in the office at the same time. It was my wife was like, what's with all the cars here today? Like, well, those are all the people I pay. They're all here. So it's awesome. Summer months in Iowa.
Yep. All right. And the main topic for today's call or roundtable is ad copy. Something that Dustin had brought up as, what's your take on writing ad copy? What's your approach? What do you see works? So since it was your topic, Dustin, you, sir, what do you got?
Yeah. So I just brought it up because I know that as PPC guys and our team, it can be tough writing ad copy that connects with people, right? We can get keywords in there, right? That's easy because as long as you can stuff a keyword in a headline, you feel like, all right, we're doing good here. And for Google, I think that is the case to a degree, but they look a lot more click-through rate than they do keyword relevance, right? I think that's probably the bigger factor, although both are factors of quality score. So to me, I think it's great to talk. What I like to talk about is just kind of how you guys approach coming up with ad copy that's, emotive or, invokes emotion, still uses keywords, but also thinks about the customer intent, where they are in the journey, and how to actually put that in a 30-character headline. And if you can't fit it there, connect with other ones. So, just kind of talking through that process and not so much maybe the nuts and bolts, but like the way we try to do it internally is we look at angles. So take on a client, we think about, okay, well, let's talk about what we're trying to market here. Is it a service, a product, whatever? Now, what are the angles we have? What are our value proposition? What are the benefits? And we look at each one, we try to find angles where we can either ask a question or we can have a statement of, hey, like maybe the angle is we're the best price. So we can have, multiple headlines about the pricing. And it could be, one could be just versus other people. One could be really specific with numbers, like the actual cost. One could be whatever it is. And just come up with ideas like that. And now with the new RSA world that we have, we're breaking the RSAs into themed angles, basically. So this RSA has these 4 or 5 headlines at this angle. This other one has these 4 or 5 at this angle, and you can only have 3. So at the most, you got 3 angles, right, to start off with. But I guess, just the challenges of trying to find people on your team, or even yourself, if you find yourself to be more numbers driven, more data driven versus like creative. One of the ways it's helped us a bit too is we use Jasper, which used to be Jarvis, which used to be Conversion AI. They changed their name more than, I'm not going to say anybody, never mind. They changed their name a lot, but the way we've been using it is not how a lot of people, probably think it should be used. We don't like put stuff in there and just copy and paste it into the ads. But what I like to do is basically go through a few of their frameworks, like the PAS framework or the ADA framework, or I'll even try some of the Google Ads headline ones, but I don't find they're that great. And just put in either copy from the client's website or from our landing page or from existing ads that are doing well, or just a concept or a thought that we've written out, like a long form, put it in there, look for ways that it spits it back out, like in another, like basically more simplistic, or like with an angle that I didn't think about, or a way that I didn't think about wording it. Because what I find is sometimes, because I'm kind of creative, I'm not like that great. My team is a little bit less, so I'm like the most creative person in some ways, which kind of sucks, but it does help me, because even though Jasper's not human, there's obviously humans behind what it's spitting out. And so it'll give you like some different perspectives on the same input. You know what I mean? So like for idea generation, more than take this thing, copy, paste it into an ad. So that's basically some of the thoughts I had around it as far as the approach. Also kind of the struggle of being creative versus, or not creative versus being more analytical and things like that. So.
Got it. Very cool. Nick, what about you? What do you got?
Well, ad copy is an interesting thing in our world, because everybody is copied and replicated, and we can use pricing to a point, but in real estate, it really comes down to trying to invoke, like Dustin said, an emotion. Are we trying to get somebody to come in and click? We actually, it's our click-through rates are really, really high. And sometimes that's a detriment, because we get people that we don't want. So trying to adjust that ad copy. So we've got a set ad copy we use in pretty much all areas of the country. It might adjust when you're in the East Coast compared to the West Coast. The Massachusetts area is not similar by any means to the Great Northwest when you're talking cadence and what they call terms, because you guys probably don't know what a rambler is. And and people in the Great Northwest don't know what a flat is. So terminology like that is important, but at the same time, trying to get the people that are truly interested instead of people that are just tire kickers. When we were talking about the ad copy, I looked up. We're averaging like 13% click-through rate across the board. Yeah, it's a dumb number. I don't quite understand it. It's great. But at the same time, it can be a poison too, right? You're getting too many people clicking through that you don't want. The beauty in that is we used to be able to go in and do gender and age and demographic stuff. Real estate doesn't allow that. So if before that, we were able to really get some real juicy leads, is what we would call them, right? Like the people that were high intent, highly motivated in that purchasing age range. But now you have to use modifiers. So if we're doing seller leads, people are looking to sell their home. The one client that's doing really well with seller leads, she said, can we get downsizers? We want a bunch of downsizers, because we know we can sell their house, and then we know we can get them a new one. So we want to double in that, right? So we put the word downsizer in there, looking to downsize, wanting to know what kind of equity you have in your home when you're going to downsize. And a 25 or 35-year-old is going to look at them like, geez, I need to get a bigger house. So it sort of removes those people. So you can use wordsmithing to a point to get that to change. And it's no different than if we've got somebody that's moving from, the Carolinas to Florida, you're asking that question, if those ads are running specifically in the Carolinas to our clients' stuff in Florida, you're asking that same question. They're tired of the cold. Like, check out all these look at all these warm houses close to the beach, right? So doing some of that. What we don't do is we don't do bait and switch. There's a lot of people in our industry that'll do a bait and switch. It happens a lot more in Facebook and Instagram and such, where you're like, see what you can buy for $350,000, and they put $1 million property on there. Well, there's nothing for sale for $350,000 where these people are looking. So you're getting a high click-through rate. But then when they go to the page, there's only one house available, and Jesus, that's $1 million. Like, no. So it's a dance. We could boost our click-through rate up higher if we did tchotchke stuff like that. But I think at the end of the day, we'll have, we try to dance where you're trying to get that proper traffic, because traffic is pseudo unlimited for us, but at the same time, you want the right traffic. So it's the click-through rate and the ad copy has never been a problem. The problem is when the clients come in and be like, hey, these people can't afford these houses. How do we get rid of them? Well, we used to be able to get rid of them by gender and demographic and areas stuff, but now we've got to do ad copy. So the ad copy is your tool that you use.
Got it. Very cool. Mark, how about you?
It's interesting. There's so many different things that you can focus on that I feel like I focus on these things and then, whoops, I forgot to focus, for a while on these things.
Yeah.
Then you go hyper focus on those things over there. So click-through rate, as you were talking about, is not one that I spend a lot of attention on. Clients get, sometimes clients who are AdWords knowledgeable get excited about click-through rates. Obviously, we're looking at conversion rates, conversion costs, but then your click-through rates do come into, into consideration. You want people to click on your ads most of the time, as Nick noted, and you want to get your quality scores up. So in general, ad copy, our historic process has been those single keyword ad groups, keyword in the headline. Of course, that's more or less changing. And then trying to get, if God bless them, the client actually has an offer of some sort with numbers, get that into the headline. And then just like whatever we can into description, 1 and 2 that are compelling, and always some sort of call to action. And I honestly haven't tested the description so much. I always lean more on what's in the headlines.
Yep.
And then what's in the extensions that show. And that's been our practice. We try to get numbers in there and we try to get some sort of compelling offer, something more than we exist type ads. And then when we run into a challenge with a client, one of the other ones that we had was in IV therapy, which was, I had no idea, was an extremely competitive niche. And so we started running ads. We're getting impressions, and I look, and there's 18 other competitors, in the local market. So then we look at what ad copy they're running, and then we punched up our own ad copy. But we're also limited by what the clients will, some clients that are like have a conscience and things won't just put anything in the ad copy, while some of their competitors will put, numbers that just aren't realistic. The locksmith business comes to mind there, where it's like $39, and there is no $39 will unlock your car anywhere in the world. So some of the ads that you compete against, then you're like, well, we can't ethically put these types of numbers in here, but let's put something in there so that we can get people to click on our ad. So I spend a lot less time worrying about ad copy than I do clients that email and say, I can't see my ad.
Very nice. Now I'm not the one writing the ad copy, but my 2 cents on it is go with direct response style copy as opposed to branded copy, meaning it's not about you, it's about the client, what's going to pique their interest. So if you were to remove yourself from your screen, walk over and get in front of their screen, what's in the mind of that person typing that into Google, and think about what they'd want to see to entice a click. That, and then, further on that, having a message to market match, being as close to keyword that they're typing into the ad, into the landing page, I think is really important. And then I think the most important thing is have empathy in your writing, and it's not about you. It's not about how many years in business you are. It's about what the benefit is to them, not the feature of your business. So that would be my take on it. And that's me not writing ad copy. That's Rob's part of the house.
With the talk of ad copy, something that Mark said sort of reminded me, we do some tricks. Like you do numbers and you do odd numbers. So 17 new listings this week, right? You put a 7 in there, that pops out. 7 always pops out on people. Those kind of things you put in. Is it true? Probably not. I mean, I could go in and change that ad copy every week to make sure it's accurate. I only had one client be like, hey, we had 13, not 17. Like, sorry. But the other big thing that I think that people might lose sight of, they're watching this video like, okay, this is how I'm going to get better click-through rate. Your click-through rate could be 50%, but if your bounce rate on your page is 90, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. I think that's something that, we have clients that'll jump in and be like, hey, I need to have a click-through rate of 9%. Well, okay, we can get a lot higher than that, but your bounce rate right now is your issue.
Yep.
So, and you guys, I know you guys deal with that. You control that with having landing pages.
The landing page, yeah. Well, we nailed it. We call that the gold, the magic formula. It's like have the right keywords, the right ad copy, the right landing page, or we're sending it to increase conversion rate, decrease bounce. But like, go go in stages as well. You can't make a change across the board all at once, or you don't really know what drove the result you got.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's also a good point, Ed, because if you think about it, we're talking about ad copy, but it's really messaging, right? So the message, you have a search somebody's doing with something in the back of their head that they're trying to solve or figure out. You've got an ad that hopefully makes that connection with them, but it has to also connect with whatever's on that landing page. Because a landing page, a lot of people think it's a design. They think a design is what makes people take an action.
Nope.
A design does not make people take an action.
It's copy and calls to action.
And if you have a good offer too,
Yeah.
right? Or whatever that is, and the ease of use and all that sort of thing. So it's like, if you've ever seen a really good offer on a crappy page, but you're like, I don't care how crappy this page is, I'm getting this offer.
Right.
In the internet marketing world, you've probably seen a course or some kind of thing like that before, right? It's ugly as heck. You're like, it's $7, I'm going to buy it, right? And then you've got some really like awesomely beautiful page. And I've seen this for some of our B2B clients, great website or landing page, but there's just no offer. It's like, yeah, it looks great, but why am I I don't feel like I'm compelled to do anything.
Yeah. We put no phone number or phone numbers in the footer. Small. Okay.
Yeah.
That's an approach. Yeah. We get clients sometimes that focus on like, they've run their own ads. They focus on traffic. You got less traffic than we did. We used to get more traffic. Yeah. Cause we're not bidding on crap.
We get that a lot too. I can't believe we're getting that many less clicks now than we were getting without you guys. I'm like, totally get it. But let's look at your campaign. You were running broad match and you were getting, sell my house in Topeka, Kansas, as opposed to sell my house fast now for cash.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, different. Oh, awesome. Any other tidbits you guys want to throw in there in terms of the ad copy side of things?
I'm really interested to see how responsive goes. We're testing some things.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily believe it's going to be better, but it's definitely going to be different.
Cool. Dustin?
Yeah, I was gonna add one thing, like you said to Mark, is looking at competitor ads. So use the Google Ads preview and diagnosis tool, put in your top keywords, see what your customers are probably seeing. And that's not perfect, but it's a good starting point.
PPC Ad Lab will actually.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. You can pull all your ad copy
more
from
than
competitors.
those. Yeah, a lot more than those 10 ads. And the important thing there is really just like a lot of times we look at our ads in a vacuum. We look at our ads based on what we are used to seeing in the account. But you don't think about, the customer doesn't see your account. The customer sees the world out there. And you're looking at your little sip of the world and you're like, how do I make this better? Well, let's get your head out of the box for a minute and just look around. I mean, sometimes that will give you some ideas of what to say or not to say, or just to be different. Because sometimes you see like for surgeons, we'd run offers for, let's say like whatever, breast aug, right? And so we'd run a breast aug offer, $1,500 off. But you got a guy that's saying 2,000 off, or another guy is saying 500 off, right? So it's like, if we're going to go that off game, we need to be the best one, or have something that qualifies, or at least know that you're not, something like that. So
when we've used Rob's tool, the PPC Ad Labs, not only helps us, but sometimes it helps the customers when I shoot a quick video and say, you've got 25 other people in your space right now. So it's not just that you have an ad, it's that 25 people, are running ads for the exact same thing. You had to figure out how to, what your unique position is and how you're gonna display that in these 30 characters that you've got here.
Yep, very true. Nick, you got any parting words?
No, just test, right? The numbers don't lie.
Yep. Mark, we were just talking before you hopped on. We were talking about the 7-figure agency event in July. I know we could bring a guest to that event. Do you want to come with one?
What is the date on that?
I think it's
the 26, 27, 25,
Yes.
26,
I
27.
might be able to come down. I've got some family coming in, but actually there's some conflicts in there too, and I'll have some empty days. So that would be fun.
Nice.
It is the 26th. It's just like on the 25th for the night before they do the meet and greet, whatever.
Meet and greet.
Okay, so it's 26th, 27th, and then the mastermind's on the 28th.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, cool.
So 26th, 27th would be the dates.
Yep.
Okay, cool. And you guys will all be there?
Yep.
I'm like 90%. Yeah. Well, none of us have booked our flights or
What's the rush
there, Ed?
typical entrepreneur shit.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, guys, have a great rest of your week, and happy Memorial Day to all of you. Enjoy
you.
Friday, Nick, Dustin, Mark. Pleasure to see you guys.
Good to see
All
you.
right.
See you, boys.
Take care, guys.
Take care.